G'day everyone. Just like to talk to you about a book of poetry called Filmworks by Brian Purcell. This is an article I wrote earlier in the year. It's at Rochford Street Review online. If you don't know Brian Purcell, he's a really talented painter, heavily influenced by Van Gogh, but he's also a very good poet. May 16, 2025. Brian Purcell is an impressionist, both painter and poet. While many of his paintings are impressionistic of nature, his poems, particularly in his latest book, Filmworks, are more impressionistic of movies. It's almost like a juxtaposition of the still life and the motion picture. The point being, his approach to impressionism is as far-reaching as possible. And, like his paintings, Purcell's poems are more or less characterized by a select number of essential details which convey a sense of urgency in both feelings and sensations. We currently live in a time where watching people's reactions to films is very popular on the internet. Many YouTubers are even making a living out of it. They videotape themselves watching various films for the first time, and hundreds, sometimes thousands of people log on to watch them. But what Purcell offers us is infinitely more compelling and intimate. Rather than recording his physical reactions, he is documenting his poetic reactions. It obviously goes without saying, if you enjoyed the films, you'll certainly enjoy the poems in Filmworks, but however, it's not mandatory to have seen the movies, because these poems are much more than just companion pieces. They stand on their own with their own merits. And here are some quotes. Secrets, we all have them, and they kill us. The Imitation Game. Even if you haven't seen The Imitation Game, a bio about Alan Turing, you can immediately identify with such a universal human statement. You ask me if I'm machine or flesh. Does it really matter? This stanza doesn't just reference the film, it also functions as an indictment on humanity's increasingly more intimate relationship with technology. Since the industrial era began, we have become more connected with technology while becoming more disconnected with nature and even with other people. It's almost Ballardian. There are a variety of perspectives and roles Purcell uses throughout Filmworks. You'll notice as you read the book, he is sometimes the audience, sometimes the lone observer and commentator, and occasionally he even takes on the role of director. There are moments where he is the protagonist of his own life, or movie perhaps, and there are moments where he literally is the protagonist of the film, the latter being the most notable in poems like 8½, and At Eternity's Gate. Purcell's first-person narrative intensifies a feeling of intimacy, which effortlessly makes him become the character simply by identifying with them and the concept of the artist's journey. With so many roles and perspectives, whilst maintaining a singular consistency with his voice, Purcell is encompassing the entirety of his world, our world, and the world of cinema into one amalgamative vision. So effective is his use of imagery that it often crosses the barrier between establishing environment and/or mood into the realm of creating genuine symbolism. There is no more defining than in the two poems Un Chien Andalou and Blue Velvet. The pierced eye cannot see to reach the object of desire. Un Chien Andalou. In the back lots of Lumberton, Geoffrey finds an ear severed as if a crazed artist was stranded there and couldn't leave. Blue Velvet. Not only do these stanzas evoke strong imagery and impressions, psychological and emotional, of the films in question, but they also highlight a subtle yet devastatingly impactful symbolic acknowledgement of our two sensory organs, eyes and ears, through which the medium of film registers visuals and audio. And it's an unsettling picture, the pierced eye and the severed ear. It's like we're losing something inherently valuable, and yet there's a calm acceptance in it. The motion picture, for better or worse, is eternally relevant to the human condition. We've been absorbing films for 100 years and will continue to do so until our extinction. And maybe to poeticize about it is one of the most relevant forms of artistic expression we have left. I could go on, But I think the best way to experience and comprehend Brian Purcell's poetry is to hear it for yourself directly from the man himself. I'll just finish by saying Australia is very fortunate to have Brian Purcell in its cultural landscape. He is an artist who values life, nature, and humanity and has an uncanny ability to capture and preserve them while leaving pieces of his own soul in the mix just for our amusement in very unique yet very relatable ways. David Grant Lloyd. So, yeah, the book is still available, Filmworks by Brian Purcell. If you Google Filmworks by Brian Purcell or Flying Islands, you should be able to locate it, but I'll put a link in the description for you as well. They've given me a bio here. David Grant Lloyd was born in Dubbo on the 3rd of July 1979. He attended the University of Wollongong and received his MCA in 2003. His first collection of poetry alive in Dubbo was the co-winner of the inaugural Flying Islands Emerging Poets Prize in 2022 and has since been widely regarded both in Australia and the UK. And here's Flying Islands here. Filmworks by Brian Purcell is available from Flying Islands Pocket Poets. They're a wonderful independent publishing establishment, and there's loads of books there. So if you're into literature, poetry, and all that jazz, check out Flying Islands. You'll not only find Filmworks, but you'll find a bunch of other really cool books of poetry. Anyway, thanks for your time, and I'll catch you in the next video. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Cheers.